Discover history's darkest secrets that shaped our world. Stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 5. The Italian Renaissance Horror. The Italian Renaissance was a time of incredible artistic and cultural growth, bringing us masterpieces from legends like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. But amidst the beauty of this era, a terrifying plague haunted the streets, something straight out of a nightmare. The zombie-like plague. In 1494, the first major outbreak of syphilis struck Europe. Without modern medicine or antibiotics, this disease was a death sentence, and people lived in constant fear. Syphilis didn't just kill, it turned its victims into walking horrors. It would eat away at their flesh, slowly consuming their faces until only bone remained. Within months, infected people would lose the flesh from their faces and even their limbs, leaving them disfigured beyond recognition. Imagine walking through the cobbled streets of Renaissance Italy, only to encounter figures with rotting faces, their skulls visible through decaying skin. Just like a scene from a zombie apocalypse. The once great artists and thinkers of the era faced the grotesque reality of this slow, painful death. Without warning, a simple encounter could mean the beginning of your own slow decay. In a time when knowledge and creativity flourished, fear of a gruesome fate lurked in every shadow. It makes you wonder, if modern medicine hadn't intervened, would this plague have consumed all of Europe? Number 4. The Forgotten Horror of Herculaneum. When we think of volcanic disasters, the Roman city of Pompeii often comes to mind, a city frozen in time, buried beneath ash after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. But few talk about its neighbor Herculaneum, which faced an even more terrifying fate. A city engulfed in hellfire. While Pompeii was buried under a thick layer of ash, Herculaneum was hit by something far worse: pyroclastic flows. These deadly currents of hot gas and volcanic debris roared through the city at speeds over 700 kilometers per hour. With temperatures soaring to 1,000 degrees Celsius, these fiery clouds left no chance for survival. The heat was so intense that in mere seconds, the skin and flesh of Herculaneum's residents vaporized, leaving only their skeletons behind. The intense temperature boiled their brains, causing their skulls to explode, painting a gruesome scene. Thousands of years later, archaeologists unearthed these skeletons, charred, twisted, and locked forever in their final moments of agony. Unlike the more famous remains of Pompeii, the bodies of Herculaneum tell a different story. One of a city that was obliterated in an instant, its people reduced to mere shadows of ash. It's a chilling reminder that nature's fury can turn a thriving community into a scene of unimaginable horror, all in the blink of an eye. Number 3. The mass killing of pets during World War II. Amid the countless human tragedies of World War II, there was a lesser-known but deeply tragic event that involved the mass killing of pets. In 1939, as the war began, the British government formed the National Air Raid Precautions Animals Committee, NARPAC, to decide what should be done with pets in the event of war. Fearing food shortages and the possibility that pet owners might share their ration supplies with their animals or abandon them to suffer starvation, the committee issued a handbook for pet owners. The handbook suggested that people relocate their pets to the countryside, or, if that wasn't possible, to consider euthanasia as a kind option. It even included an advertisement for a bolt pistol, encouraging the humane killing of pets. Within just a week of this initiative, an estimated 750,000 pets were euthanized. Families had to make heartbreaking decisions to part with their beloved companions, often driven by fear of the unknown and the looming war. Imagine walking through the empty streets of Britain, once filled with the sounds of pets, now eerily silent and filled with the echoes of loss. The emotional toll of such a decision, compounded by the anxiety of wartime, was unbearable for many. This dark chapter serves as a grim reminder of the impossible choices people faced during wartime, showing that war's cruelty extended beyond just human suffering, impacting the animals that once brought them comfort and joy. Number 2. The Tragedy of Nanking. One of the most horrifying episodes in history is the tragedy of Nanking. During the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, the Imperial Japanese Army captured the Chinese city of Nanking, which was then the capital of China. What followed over the next 6 weeks was a brutal massacre that left a deep scar in history. An estimated 300,000 Chinese civilians and disarmed soldiers lost their lives at the hands of the invading forces. The suffering did not end with the mass killings. This event is also remembered for the widespread violence and mistreatment inflicted upon the city's population. Many civilians endured severe abuse, with countless women subjected to terrible acts before being killed. The brutality extended to looting, arson, and acts of extreme cruelty, turning Nanking into a scene of unimaginable devastation and sorrow. Even decades later, the pain of this massacre remains fresh in the memories of survivors, and it continues to be a point of deep historical tension between China and Japan. Japanese officials have at times downplayed or denied the extent of the atrocities, labeling them as exaggerations. Yet the stories of survivors and the accounts of foreign witnesses paint a grim picture, leaving behind a legacy of grief and a reminder of the depths of human suffering that can occur during war. The tragedy of Nanking remains a haunting reflection of the darkness that can emerge in times of conflict. Number 1. The Holocaust. The Holocaust stands as one of the darkest and most tragic events in human history, leaving a scar that the world will never forget. During World War II, under the leadership of a totalitarian regime in Germany, a systematic campaign was carried out to eliminate millions of people, targeting Jews, Romani people, disabled individuals, and other minority groups. From 1941 to 1945, approximately 6 million Jews lost their lives in this genocide, along with millions of others who faced persecution and death. The regime created a network of concentration and extermination camps across Europe, where men, women, and children faced inhumane conditions, forced labor, and starvation. Many were subjected to horrifying medical experiments, while others perished in gas chambers, a symbol of the chilling efficiency with which this horrific plan was carried out. Places like Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Sobibor became synonymous with human suffering on an unimaginable scale. Beyond the numbers, the human stories of loss, survival, and courage echo through the generations. Countless families were torn apart, and entire communities vanished. The horrors of this period were eventually revealed to the world as Allied forces liberated the camps, uncovering the extent of the cruelty. The images of emaciated survivors, piles of belongings, and mass graves shocked humanity. The Holocaust serves as a painful reminder of the depths to which hatred and intolerance can descend.